Peak TV. I'm Nick Dagan, Executive Director of Peak Asset Management. We've got Ralph Winter from Moho. Ralph, really good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Niv. Appreciate it.
Ralph, Moho, um, under $5 million market cap. We've recently backed you with a capital raise. You've got some really exciting projects. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah, look, we originally started out as a unashamedly both nickel and gold explorer. We did develop a small gold resource at our Kalgoorlie project, and I guess as the market turned and we saw the opportunity behind critical minerals, we decided to really start to push the nickel and the critical minerals, rare earths, and lithium side more. So we've actually been looking a lot into that at this point in time, which we'll talk about in a bit more as we go on here. But we've really expanded our portfolio in terms of projects that are open for nickel, copper, PGEs. But as you well know, where you got those sorts of things, you also get exposure to rare earths and lithium. So we've really opened our minds a bit more as to the projects we've got. But we've also accumulated some new projects in the last sort of 12 months that are looking quite interesting.
And on that note, I mean, Black Swan, tell us a little bit about more what's happening in the space.
Yeah, so look, Silver Swan is right next to Poseidon's Silver Swan, Black Swan nickel mine. We drilled an anomaly to the south, about 4 kilometers to the south of Silver Swan, Black Swan, about 4 months ago. We're still waiting on the results on those, but that's looking quite interesting. We did have some great initial indications on the mineralization. It does look like it's plunging down to the south, so it was a reconnaissance program. So we do expect that we'll follow up that with probably a diamond drill program, which we can go and look and drill underneath the plunge and follow that to the south and see if we can actually find the goodies really. But that's looking quite interesting, and hopefully we should get those results back in the next few weeks. Unfortunately, like everybody in the space, the labs are incredibly understaffed and underfunded and taking an extraordinary amount of time at the moment. So we just have to kind of wait it out a little bit, unfortunately. So.
And Ralph, I mean, there's a lot of buzz right now with what's happening with rare earth. So on that, you've got a rare earth project in Barra Copper. So just tell us a little bit more about that and why you're so excited by it.
Yeah, so look, Barra Copper originally started as a gold project, and we went and did some more soil sampling there. And I guess around the time we started transitioning to a critical minerals explorer, we said, well, let's have a look here and see what other potential there might be. And then we did quite an extensive geochem review across the tenement on the data that we had available, which included the drill data we'd done for gold. And we'd identified some very interesting rare earth anomalism, which doesn't, at this point, is only constrained to the sampling we've done, but we do believe extends further across the tenements. And it does seem to be associated with the channels that run through the ground. And this kind of coincided with IGO. So this is actually one of the tenements here has a joint venture with IGO. Funnily enough, they pegged a whole big chunk of ground to the north of us, specifically targeting rare earths. So we thought, well, that's interesting. If they're doing it, we must have a bit of potential here as well. And it was around that time we discovered our rare earth anomalism there as well. So what we did coincidentally then is we followed where the channels were going outside of our ground, and we pegged an additional 1,300 square kilometers around there. So the next phase is to basically do some further sampling, but also to look to get an auger rig in there to basically chase the ionic clay development that we seem to have been defining. Unfortunately, that sort of coincides with, well, not unfortunately, it's fortunate that it coincides with the harvesting, which will be happening in the next month. So if we can get a rig in there over the next couple of months, that'll be great. And see what we've got there basically. But we do also believe there may be potential for potentially lithium as well. So it seems to be the project that keeps giving it. We're chasing that up at the moment to see if there is any potential there, and hopefully we'll have some news to feed to the market on that in the not too distant future as well.
And Ralph, just on that note, I mean, Whistle Pipe, bit going on there and a lot of opportunity. Tell us a little bit more about that project.
Yeah, sure. So Whistle Pipe is actually the group that we acquired 7 different project groups from. And I guess why this one's interesting is because the principles of Whistle Pipe were involved with the identification and the discovery of the Julimar nickel, copper, gold PGE discovery. What they did was they went off, set up their own consultancy, targeted a bunch of different areas around WA on the same basis and using the same sort of targeting methodology that they use for Julimar. So we did a deal with them, which we acquired off them. They're shareholders in the company, but they also consult back to us now, and basically helping us follow these up. So a lot of them are down in the southwest of WA, which is quite interesting. And, like I said, they were originally targeted for nickel, copper, PGEs. But that being said, we're now discovering a fair few companies around one of our projects there, Peak Charles, are finding, quite a large host of rare earths in the area as well. So we believe there's rare earth potential. Manjimup is looking very interesting. It's got a bullseye anomaly, which looks sort of similar to what Nova looked like in the early days. And we're doing sort of preliminary sampling across that at the moment, as well as Peak Charles and World Range North as well. So look, we're keeping our eyes open. We do believe there'll be some lithium potential as well across these. It is early stages for those ones, but we're starting that initial sampling, and there'll be a lot of news flow coming out of those projects as well. Given that we've got 7 of them, there's a fair bit of work to do, but as we go, we'll keep the market informed and tell everybody what we've got.
So Rolf, you're under $5 million market cap. You're fully funded. You've got some really exciting projects. I mean, as an investor, why should I be buying you right now?
Well, look, that's really the key. I mean, we are under 5 million market cap. Share price is still relatively low from our perspective. We've got fantastic news flow coming out over the next 6 months when you look at all the different projects we've got and the work we're doing. We also just finished a drill program at Dukes and our T3, T4 at Silver Swan. That'll probably follow our Black Swan results as well. And there's some really good initial indications there. We put out some XRF results recently, which are showing some nice elevated nickel, copper, and even cobalt results as well. So look, there will be results coming out in the not too distant future, and the work programs are going to keep coming. And we'll just keep pushing the news flow out. We're very determined to make sure that we create something in this company, and I think we've got the right people on board and the right support behind it now.
Rolf, thanks very much for joining us at PTV.
Thanks, Nev. Appreciate the time, mate.